Hey, best friend, how are you today?
Very excited for another episode.
I know you are. Let's get to your intro and then tell everyone who we're going to have. Good?
Sounds good.
I'm sharing screen. Boop. Here we go.
This good is on fire. Woo! This good is on fire. She's walking on fire. This good is on fire. Everybody said that she goes by. They see the fame that's in her eyes. But she as she's fighting up the night. Nobody knows that she's a lonely girl. And it's a lonely world. But she won't let it burn, baby. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. Thank you.
I love that rendition of it. Brenster, who's our guest today?
Marlee Smith from Arizona State.
Tell us about Marlee Smith. Go ahead.
She's the only female wrestler at Arizona State,
Mm-hmm.
second walk-on female in Arizona State history.
Wow.
She played football from second grade until seventh grade. She
Okay.
started wrestling at 8 years old. She started running, lifting, and eating healthy. And she has been coached by several Olympic wrestlers. Do you
Yeah,
have some things to say about her?
I do. She really started that workout routine right around middle school age. Which couple things that I know. She played soccer and also field hockey, and she went to Wyoming Seminary and got to wrestle on an all girls wrestling team in high school for the first time. So sounds like it's going to be an amazing guest. I know they had their championships last night for Arizona State. Uh, should we let her in?
Sure.
All right, here we go. We're going to let her in. And there's Marlee right there.
Hello.
Joining us. Friends, take it away.
Hi, Miss Smith. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm very excited.
I am super excited as well.
How is the weather in Arizona?
It's actually getting hot now. Last week it was pretty cold, but now I get to sit by the pool, which I'm super happy about.
What do you think, Red? Got some questions?
Mm-hmm.
All right, go ahead.
My first question is, what has been the most difficult thing being the only girl wrestling at Arizona State? Lots of times I'm the only girl on my teams.
Yeah, so I think one of the most difficult things being the only female at ASU is not being able to compete in women's collegiate nationals or like dual matches. So if I want to compete in if I want to compete against women college wrestlers, I have to attend like open tournaments. But other than that, it really hasn't been that difficult. The coaches here and my teammates treat me no different because I'm a girl. I get to lift, condition, and practice with them just like any other wrestler in the room. So I'm really glad I chose this path, even though I don't get the mat time I want to get as another women's college program would. But I know by taking this path, I'm paving the way for the next generation of girls to compete at the D1 level, which is just as important to me.
Sometimes yesterday it was difficult for me because it was my first time playing with girls in lacrosse, and I didn't really know the rules, so it was sort of difficult for me to understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good preference.
Are the rules different for the boys and the girls lacrosse?
A little bit.
A little
No
bit.
checking. There's full out checking in the boys, which she's done since preschool.
Uh-huh.
So she went over to a elite lacrosse club and played by a different set of rules yesterday. So it was for the first time just getting thrown in. It was a little bit different for her, but she did great. Made some
That's
new friends
awesome.
too, right?
That's always good.
Yeah. Friends, what's your second question?
My second question is, how do you get ready for a match, and what do you feel like when you step on the mat?
So the way I get ready for my matches is I just do my normal warm-up routine like I would in practice. And then after, I will just like throw on some headphones, listen to some music, and chill out until I have to warm up again and get ready for my match. How do I feel? I usually am super nervous, but I think that's normal for everyone. But you gotta also get yourself excited. You just can't go in there nervous. But once I step on the mat and start wrestling, I think a lot of those nerves leave our body, and then we just wrestle.
Friends, what do you say you always feel? That's something similar that you mentioned to me, and it's Marlee saying it's normal. So you want to tell her when you wrestle?
I get a funny feeling in my tummy.
Yeah, like butterflies in your stomach. I was actually talking to one of my teammates last week about it, and her name's Her name's Allie Reagan. She's super good. And I always thought like those really good athletes, like, do they not get nervous or anything? But she told me that she gets super nervous, but you also need to get excited to compete as well and get some fire in you and go out.
So it's normal.
It
You're
is
saying that
normal.
it's normal, Brent.
Yeah.
Awesome. You're like, oh, I get some butterflies in my stomach, but athletes do that all the time. Coaches get that. They just get excited about it. So what's your third question, Brenny?
Third question is, what is the time in your life when you had to be tough?
When I had to be tough, I think I had a lot of those tough times, but the most tough I had to be was probably this year coming to school in August for my junior year. My grandpa, who was really sick with leukemia for 4 years, he was like my best friend and one of my biggest supporters. And the night I had to leave for school, I had to say my goodbyes before I flew back to Arizona. And he passed away that night at midnight. And after that, I didn't want to come back. I just wanted to be with my family. And yeah, but I knew that's not what he wanted me to do. I knew that he would want me to come back and work hard to achieve my goals. So that's what I did, and I keep working hard for him.
What do you think of that, Brent? What do you think of that answer?
It's a little sad.
It is a little sad, but a little bit similar to your great grandfather. Okay, my grandfather, who is
And his grandma.
their little tribute corner to him right there.
Aw.
He didn't miss one of my games or my brother's games until I was a sophomore in college. So we counted out between the two of us, my younger brother, close to 1,000 games that he
Wow.
had. Yeah, soccer, basketball, baseball, didn't miss one. World War II vet. So yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's hard.
It is hard, but you're 100% right that he would have wanted you to go, and you did what he wanted, and all those lessons I'm sure that he taught you. Same thing with me, which drove me when I was a college coach. It's the exact same thing that you celebrate what they've done for you and all that time that they gave you by working hard. So I
Exactly.
appreciate that, and I know Bren's works hard. Her grandparents are awesome. She works hard. They support her, so she's very lucky too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, just getting that support from family.
I agree, and that's why we got the Lucarelli jersey. That was his last name. Was his first name was Antonio, and last name was Lucarelli. So we always give a little tribute with the jersey in the back to my grandfather and her great grandfather. Brent, wild card. You love your wild card questions. What do you got?
What is your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, I would have to say Christmas, because I love giving gifts to people, and I also get to spend Christmas with my whole entire family. So, and I'm like a family person, so that's why I love Christmas. What about you? What's your favorite holiday?
Mm, I have actually a lot, like Easter, St. Patrick's Day, Halloween, Christmas.
You love them all.
Yeah.
Ooh, tell Marlee what we almost were able to do on St. Patrick's Day morning. I'm sure she'll love to hear this.
What did you almost get to do?
We almost caught a leprechaun.
What?
Tell her what happened.
We had a bucket in a car, and there was like a string there, and there'd be like little gold pieces that were fake, huge piece of candy, and
What?
he would run and trip on a line, and then a car would be holding a bucket up, and when he trips on the line, it will pull it up, the car in, and he'll be trapped. But then
What?
he
That's so
bucket over.
cool.
We spent a lot of time. We spent a lot of time on that, Red, didn't we? And then what happened?
We started like on Monday, and then we only had 2 days to get ready for him. Then that's when we started. So
No.
But what happened? Tell her what happened the next morning.
he got extra angry.
He did?
Trashed the whole house
Oh no.
in the basement, which he normally doesn't do.
Uh-oh, he got really mad.
And he left
Was that Brent?
he left shaving cream.
He
Yeah,
did?
shaving cream on the mirrors, toilet paper roll throughout the
Oh
whole house.
no.
What
Oh,
else?
no.
Chairs and the bar stools were tipped over. He was not happy.
Crazy.
We were close.
There were actually garbage bags all over it.
Yeah, he took.
Mom had a
those.
puzzle that she started, so I was like, "Uh-oh, hope she didn't ruin Mom's puzzle," because she was working really hard.
She was, but luckily he did not, because I think he knows better.
Good.
Mess with Mom's stuff, so it was mostly Dad's stuff. Bren's has, and I don't know if you heard this, Marlee, but Bren's has started a very interesting part of her show. She had Taylor O'Donnell Bacher on, who's a former Olympic wrestler, several weeks back, and she actually had a magic 8-ball with her. So they were going back and forth with the two questions. But Bren's has a section now on her show where she has a magic 8-ball, and she might have a question that she would like to ask the magic 8-ball. Bren's, go ahead.
Let's see.
Question has to be yes or no.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I got one. My question is, will ASU get a women's team within a year and a half or two?
Will ASU get a women's team Mhm.
within a year or two.
In a year or two.
Fingers crossed.
Oh yeah. The suspense is killing me, Brenna.
Say no.
What?
What? You got to take that thing back. We're taking it back.
Yeah.
Shake it again. Shake it again and say, is that really true? Ask it if it's really true and see what it says.
Is that really true?
Better say no.
Better not tell you now.
Oh, there's a chance. There's a
There's
chance.
Hopefully.
We know the NCAA, sometimes is all over the place. Bren's actually did a little special show yesterday that we weren't planning on doing. Bren,
Uh-huh.
you want to tell Marlee about the show you did? You didn't have a guest on, but tell her what happened.
Yeah, let me hear.
The boys for basketball, I think it was March Madness. For March Madness, the boys got like a whole gym to work out, while the girls just got a few yoga mats on a table and one thing of weight.
I saw that. Isn't
what-
that crazy?
What'd you think about that, Brenna? We did a whole show on it.
How is that fair?
How is that fair? It's not.
I have a memorabilia minute.
Oh yeah, go ahead, show her. What do you have? Memorabilia minute.
ASU scarf.
Ooh, I love it. Reppin' Forks Up.
We actually went to an ASU hockey game 2 years ago.
Really? How was it?
They played up here because we're in New York. It was great. One of my close friends, my director for hockey for my company, was able to hook us up with ASU, and we were able to sit right behind the bench and
That's
say hi to some of the coaches. So that was kind of cool.
Awesome.
Brent,
Yeah.
what do you think, Brenny? Can I ask my question?
Yeah.
All right. And then I think we're going to let Marlee go and we'll play her video while she's gone because they had the championships yesterday. So before I ask my question, how did that go yesterday for you guys? You want to give me a quick summary on the championships?
Yeah. So overall, our team took 4th place. We had one in the finals, Brandon Courtney, wrestling Spencer Lee, which he took 2nd. Then Ja'Cory Teamer took 4th. Colton Schultz took 4th. Mikhail McGee, I think, took 5th or 6th. I'm not sure. And that's all our place finishers. But yeah, overall, we had a pretty good season. Training hard, working hard. So I'm excited to see what's to come.
Got a lot of people coming back next year?
Yes, we do.
Good.
Yeah.
So my one question is, where do you see yourself, with the wrestling and also maybe, a career 5 years, 7 years down the road? Because I'm sure Bren's is curious too.
Yeah, so I'm a junior currently. I plan on graduating after my senior year, maybe go to grad school, I don't know. But I want to be a child life specialist. And so I want to work in a hospital with sick kids and their families. But I also want to be a coach. So hopefully ASU gets a women's team and I can coach that. And yeah, that's what I want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's going to be pretty fulfilling, I bet.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they're coming down the pipeline with some good things with the NCAA. I think they're really trying, to open things up on the women's side. And once they get through this, the finances of the pandemic and get back to normal and get all that cash rolling, and I think things will start opening up. That's just my opinion.
So too. I think so too. And with the sport growing, and I think that's a big part of it, just having it grow So I think we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, we've seen it really take off. Before the pandemic, Bren's
Mhm.
wrestling in the largest all girls tournament in New York State, and the numbers for that just kept going up from the year before where she was in it. So it really is.
Yeah.
It's nice to see. It's nice to see that, and she's got a good balance, right, Red? You got a good balance with all your sports.
Yeah.
Rotate.
I was just like her. I used to play like every single sport when I was younger. Then my sophomore year in high school was when I like decided to cut down just wrestling, focus on wrestling. And that's where I like just decided. That's actually when I decided I wanted to come here, because I came here for wrestling camp and I was like, wow, like I love it here. Like I love the weather, the community. It's
Yeah.
just great. It felt like home to me. So I was like, this is where I want to be. So I always had my mind set on coming here. And like other women's college schools, wrestling, a lot of them didn't have like nursing as a major, which was what I wanted to do back then. And so I was just like, I'm going to go see what I could do with wrestling there. And it's worked out great so far. So I'm really blessed that I chose that path.
Well, we're gonna try. Hopefully, you'll be wrestling on the East Coast sometime over the next year, and we'll try to go watch you.
Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, hopefully I get to compete a lot more, because COVID, I really haven't gotten to compete much.
Is there anything coming up that you know of, or it's all playing it by
Yeah,
ear?
I'm wrestling next weekend at Last Chance tournament. And then if the top two placers qualify for trials, which it would be the weekend after. So hopefully I qualify for that.
Where are the trials being held?
Texas.
Okay, no chance, Brent. Sorry.
Maybe
Maybe next year. We'll take it.
next year.
We'll figure something out. Well, Brent, why don't you say your thank yous and goodbyes? I think Marlee's got to get going. She's been on the road, with the team, and it's been a long weekend. So, all right, take it away, Red.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show and spending time with me.
No problem. I enjoyed my time on here.
Thanks, Marlee. Brent, show her your shirt. She's representing. She's got a friend who's a coach out in Iowa. Go ahead, show your shirt. Dubuque.
Oh, that's cool.
Dubuque Senior Rams. Coach Conley. We'll give him a shout out to him.
That's awesome.
Always checking in on how she's doing with her wrestling.
Aw.
The Heartland. Iowa wrestling. You gotta love it.
Yep.
Marlee,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having me.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. I know Bren's enjoyed it, and it was great hearing all that stuff that you're saying about your grandfather. And sorry for your loss, but trust me, he's with you everywhere.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Good luck.
Bye, Brenna.
Bye.
I loved it. I loved it for a lot of reasons. It was so just laid back, casual, and she told you exactly what she was feeling. That's what you want. You wanted to hear from these tough girls, and she is tough. I loved it. Should we play the video about her for our fans? What do you think, Brent?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to share a screen. We're going to play it, and then we will sign off. All right, let me get out of this. And here we go.
It's a tradition of producing greats. The list of talented former Sun Devils include Dan the Beast Severin,
Reversal and gets it 2 points.
Cain Velasquez, former two-time UFC heavyweight champion, Olympic silver medalist Townsend Saunders. And current head wrestling coach, Zeke Jones. It's a program that continues to elevate and reshape the perception of what it means to be a wrestler.
ASU has defeated the Nittany Lions.
Historical victory for Arizona State wrestling here in the desert.
He is the rock star of this program and of this crowd.
But for ASU wrestling, being great isn't restricted by gender.
The best part about being here is just having a family so close to me. The weather is a plus.
Marlee Smith is a sophomore on the wrestling team. Her career on the mat began at a young age in Wantage, New Jersey. She pursued other sports, but in the end, she pinned down one. Despite having opportunities to go to other programs, she chose to be a Sun Devil, in part because of the history of women wrestlers at ASU, a history that includes her trainer and mentor, Kelsey Campbell. What was your first impression of Marlee?
She's super talented. I mean, I think the first time I trained with her, I could see right away. I'm like, this girl has way more talent than I had when I was in this room.
Kelsey Campbell first stepped into ASU's wrestling facilities over a decade ago, when she became the program's first woman on the roster.
You know, there's a tremendous history and tradition for women's wrestling here in the Valley in Phoenix. It really started with a person named Tricia McNaughton, who became Tricia Saunders, who really pioneered women's wrestling in the world.
Wrestlers have a certain kind of grit that other folks don't. I had to learn all the same lessons that everybody else did being committed to the sport. You just got to put your nose to the grind.
That created a platform for the next person, which was Kelsey Campbell, who wrestled at Arizona State and had a great career, made an Olympic team.
Campbell picks up the first 1 point.
So I think you start to see that evolution of women's wrestling and who really started to pioneer that.
And that evolution continues through Marlee, the second woman to land a spot on the Sun Devils roster. She not only trains with Kelsey, but also with the coaches and student athletes on the team.
What's your initial impression when you hear that there's a female wrestler on this campus who wants to be on your team?
When I hear about a female wrestler being on our team, on our roster, to me, it's second nature. To most people, they're like, what? You have a girl on your men's wrestling team? But then you start to educate them and tell them, you know, that there's a platform for women's wrestling within our university system. But for some people, most, it's unusual.
You're not allowed to change. It's 1 hold, 6 seconds live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, time. Get a drink.
Marlee's a member of our wrestling team. She's a wrestler. When I look at a women's soccer player, I'm looking at an elite athlete. I'm not looking at gender. It happens to be the gender of that team. But we're looking at elite athletes. And we want to train elite athletes and elite students. And hopefully they'll be elite student athletes. And she fits that.
But Marlee's time wrestling as a Sun Devil and against Division I student athletes ends at practice. Women's wrestling has yet to become a sanctioned sport in the NCAA at the Division I level. In order to compete, Marlee must travel to the East Coast and join tournaments not under the NCAA umbrella. She wrestles at the senior level, which means her opponents are usually close to a decade older than her.
As I started competing on the senior level, I'm wrestling women a lot older, and which was frustrating and still is. I had like a mental block, like, I'm never gonna win a match. Just kept telling myself negative things. And their strength, they're a lot stronger. But the more I do it, the more I'll get better. So I just gotta keep pushing through.
Unfortunately, as it was before, it's a lonely path for female wrestlers.
You just put your head down and work. And I tried not to ask too many questions, and I had no idea what I was doing most of the time, but I just acted like I did. I think I did my best, but it was pretty challenging, and I don't know. It was a very lonely time. So I'm still grateful for it, but it was not easy. It was not easy.
having to work so hard to fight for women's wrestling through my whole career, and it was a fairly lonely experience. And I think some people say, you know, have you learned your lesson not to be so? And I say, absolutely not. I'm unapologetic when it comes to being uncommitted to the slow gradualism that really had been put forth to women's wrestling, where everyone said, well, we did a tiny bit, let's go play golf, and then take a break, let's table it. Next thing, I was a huge pain in everyone's rear, still am.
Do you think you've been doubted at all because you're a female in the sport?
I mean, I'm sure a lot of people doubt me and doubt other women wrestlers, but I mean, if they're not doing it themselves, then they can't really talk. It pushes me to work harder, so that's always a good thing.
What comes up a lot between us is to always make sure that you vouch for yourself and make sure that you're speaking up for yourself. You're the female minority. You just can't be afraid to speak up. And you can't always worry about being polite. We're not in a very polite sport anyways.
Coach, how would you characterize what ASU is doing to not only help Marlee, but other females in the sport?
Well, I think if you're looking at Arizona State, the innovative school that it is, we're going to think outside the box. We're going to think about the future. We're going to think about what is going to empower our planet in the future, and that's women's wrestling at the Division I level. It's being on our roster, which is unbelievable, having Marlee on it, females on our roster. But I think where we're headed is a women's only roster that will field a full team in the future. That's at the scholarship Division I national championship level, and I think we're trying to pioneer that, and Marlee's one of those pioneers.
It's just what we do. It's about inclusivity, it's about breaking barriers down, and it's about making the world a better place. In this case, we're trying to make Marlee's world a better place. And she's making our world a better place because of it. Our young people learn from that.
Marlee, you've already had a lot of success as a wrestler, but what's the end game for you?
I want to be a world champ, eventually make the Olympics, and my main goal is to start a women's team here at ASU. But it's just the matter of fact when. But I believe it'll happen within a couple years.
Finish it!
Women's wrestling, bare minimum, it's grown, and that's just changed the way it looks. I mean, wrestlers don't look the same. It's such a diverse sport now, and I'd like to think it is more inclusive than it used to be, but I think we still have a lot of work to do.
What'd you think of that?
That was a great little clip.
Yeah, it was a good little special on not just Marlee, but some women who did a lot of sacrificing so that. Hold on, I forgot to press the pause button. Hold on.
Lets me know my body.
There we go. If this were a big time show, we'd be editing that, but we're not gonna, Bruns, because it's just me and you. What do you think? So let me go back to what I was saying. Pretty awesome that some of these other female wrestlers really pushed themselves when it wasn't that popular. And then people like Marlee have an opportunity. And now because of what Marlee's doing, people your age are going to have opportunities that they didn't have in the past, right? And it's important. Just because you're the only girl doing something doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, right? Mm-hmm. And you've done that, and it doesn't bother you, but I think that that's important for some of the young girls that you're friends with and that are watching, that they understand, hey, just because there are no girls doing that sport or maybe in that profession, a lot of people in that career path, doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. You should follow your what, friends? Follow your what?
Dream.
Follow your dreams. Yeah. And so, fantastic show, kid. Another winner chicken dinner. It was great. Take us home. with your closing. Go ahead.
Thanks for watching Tough Girls and Heroes, and remember, if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Yeah, if you can dream it, you can achieve it, just like we just saw in those clips. All right, here's your song. You were awesome today. I love Marlee's answers too. Very honest and fresh.
Stay tough.
Stay tough. Love you, kid.